Hello.
Hi there.
Welcome back to our Texas Chainsaw Marathon, our reviews. This is our eighth video?
I think eighth video. To simplify, this is our seventh movie.
Seventh movie?
Eighth video.
Yeah, seventh movie. This is the seventh movie in the franchise.
Yes. And now we go back to, this movie is a requel to the original 1974 movie. This ignores 2 through 4 and also the reboot remake reboot timeline as well. This goes straight back to the original, and this is a sequel to that movie only.
This one's weird. It picks up 30 years later?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah, because that was 74 and this was 2013.
Yeah, this is 2013.
So 80, 90, 2000, 40. 40 years later.
Almost
40
39 years.
So anyways, it's supposed to take place...
But it's 40 years after the thing.
40 years after the massacre.
4 years, because it's supposed to be 1973, even though they made it in 74.
And apparently there's a baby that was taken from the house.
Yes, one of the Sawyer children.
One of the Sawyer children.
Yes.
And Alexander Daddario is supposed to be that 40-year-old kid.
Yeah. I don't know if she felt like she was 40.
I don't know if that was the original intention of this movie casting.
I don't know.
Although Alexander Daddario played the part well.
Oh, she did. It was just weird when she hasn't seen me. Actually, I like this movie in a lot of ways. If you take away that little tiny thing, I actually kind of like this movie. It was weird, but I kind of liked it. It's just this weird scene though, where Leatherface towards the end of the movie just kind of looks at this scar or this birthmark that she's supposed to have, and was like, oh, and then he gets that she's his relative, which was really weird, his sister or whatever.
Yeah.
I guess she's supposed to be his cousin.
Oh yeah, cousin. Okay.
Sorry, cousin.
Cousin.
Supposed to be his cousin, so
cousin.
He recognized her at that point, but yeah, I don't know.
So anyways, this baby was taken into foster care by these other people and raised her this whole time, when her grandma dies, and that had this house in the middle of Texas. And she goes with a couple friends, of course,
yes,
to investigate the house and look at it. Well, while they're there, shit happens. There's no bad cop in this one, though. All the cops are actually really I'm trying to help you, except for there's a couple crooked ones.
A couple crooked cops.
Yes, because remember the mayor and the sheriff and a bunch of others were the ones that ganged up and killed the Sawyer family.
Oh, yeah.
So therefore Leatherface had their pictures in the basement and was marking off.
Oh, right.
As he killed each one.
So there were bad cops.
So I guess there were bad cops.
Just not not in the sense that they're part of the clan.
Bad as the remake.
Not in the cults. They're not part of the family.
Yeah,
they're actually just really. There's this thing where she gets kidnapped, and then I think you don't even. She goes to see the house and to look at it to see if she wants to keep the house as inheritance, and then once they go inside, then they stumble onto Leatherface, who's the only, I guess, survivor of the family in the house.
Yeah.
And he's in the basement, and then he ends up going after everyone.
Yeah. This is pretty. I would say this is almost like Leatherface 3. How it's kind of forgettable, but not really. I watched it, but I don't really remember much.
I remember this one more than 3.
Okay. But the kills, I don't really remember the kills much.
I remember the one kill of the guy who's running out of the basement.
I remember that. Didn't he get a hook to the back?
Yeah, he was getting chased, I think, at the Sears put the chainsaw too, and then he gets killed. And Then there's also the meat grinder scene, which is pretty fun.
Oh yes.
Where the sheriff gets thrown into a meat grinder and he gets his hands sawed off, and
the mayor at the end.
Well, yeah, that's right, the mayor, not the cop.
Yeah,
and there's one scene in this movie where she's basically trying to fight off, like, because they find out that she's one of the Sawyers. and then Leatherface is there, and there's this big, like, showdown, basically, and everyone's kind of, like, ganging up on each other, and then, like, she gets chased by the mayor, I think, and then Leatherface ends up hunting him down, and then chases him to a meat grinder, where he, like, almost falls inside, and he's, like, grabbing, like, the edge so he doesn't fall inside, and then, it's like, on the floor. And so, like, he, like, grabs onto the edge, and Leatherface just takes the chainsaw and, like, saws his hands through, like, at the wrist. Yeah. And then he just gets, like,
falls into the meat grinder.
And he just slowly gets, like, slid into the meat grinder. It's great.
Yes.
And then knocks his hands inside, which is pretty funny.
And then the one cop at the end tells her to clean up this mess.
Yeah.
Meaning that they know about Leatherface, and they're keeping it secret this whole time.
Yeah,
so this one's a weird one.
It is weird. They don't touch upon, like, how many times they touch upon how she's related to Leatherface? Because I know they
not too much. They just say that she's cousins.
Related.
Yeah.
When did they say she's a cousin though?
Well, she says that they're cousins.
Oh.
She's like, I'm your cousin.
Yeah. That's the one thing. She looks a little young to be this 40-year-old cousin.
And it's so funny because there's a letter that her grandma gives her at the beginning of the movie when she dies that she doesn't read until after everything is said and done at the end of the movie. And that she's just like, oh, by the way, your cousin is in the basement. Be careful.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, that's it. At the end of the movie, the grandmother wrote a letter about, like, oh yeah, by the way, you're like the last surviving family member, and she's like, and then she's like, you can choose to leave this all behind, but just know that you can't change the fact that you're part of the family or whatever, or something like that. And then, like, there's like a scene where she, like, goes down to the cellar, and then she decides to be the next person. She, like, puts him back in the cellar, gives him his tray of food, and then just goes up the stairs and then
locks the door.
Locks the door, and I think, does she even have a line? And then
I don't think she has a line.
She doesn't have a line. You kind of just realize she's taking on the role of the new, like,
Sawyer keeper
of Leatherface in the basement.
Leatherface.
Just sort of a weird. I don't know. It's just weird. It is weird. This is weird, but it's kind of entertaining.
Makes you feel for Leatherface.
In a way.
Kinda,
not entirely.
Because, like,
they well, even though he's still a chainsaw wielding maniac, he's, like, made more like this property kind of thing for the family, and then and they also kind of, like, talk about how he's related to her, who's kind of the antagonist, protagonist, which is kind of weird. So the protagonist is related to the Sawyer, so it's really weird. But it's sort of an entertaining movie. I mean, it's sort of fun.
He's got some cool-ass chainsaws, I'll tell you. He's got a whole shed in the basement, like a whole cupboard in the basement full of chainsaws that he decides to choose to go after someone.
Which one
really
he wants
cool.
to use. Yeah. And his mask, his faces look a little bit different. Like, the way the masks are kind of look different. I mean, obviously it's different faces every time, but it looks like the way that they're constructed is also different. And at one point, he actually, like, I think isn't this the one where he, like sews the mask onto his face?
Oh, yeah.
He like, there's a scene where, like, he's in the basement and he takes a face and he sews it into his own face.
It's gross.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's this one. I could be wrong, but I think it's this one.
I think it's this one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's really weird.
Really weird movie.
But enjoyable. And it stands out more than some of the other ones.
B-.
Yeah, I'll give it a B- too. I mean, it was better than some of the movies. I mean, it had more interesting, like, storyline stuff. It was a little bit, like, out there.
Yeah.
I think you just had to keep up with the small details in this movie. Like, the overall plot was pretty straightforward, but a lot of the details about how things were supposed to work was kind of confusing.
Yeah, but anyways, check it out.
Yes.
This one was decent.
It was decent and not terrible.
And like and follow for more.
Like and follow for more.
Reviews. Next, we're on to
Leatherface. 2017.
So that'll be an interesting one because that's a prequel.
Yep, here we go.